podcast is Why My Nervous System is Inherited from My Ancestors and Creates My Mind in Bending, Thinking, and Knowing. Your nervous system came first, long before your mind ever learned language. So it built the entire framework your thoughts live inside. Every belief, reaction, interpretation is filtered through ancient wiring designed for survival, never present moment authenticity. What means your knowing is often just biology wearing a crown. If you really witness the world today, that statement made a lot of sense. Your mind is shaped by signals your nervous system sends. Fear spikes become intuition, tension becomes certainty, and old survival patterns become logic. You think you're thinking, but half the time you're just translating electrical storms into stories that feel real. Your sense of knowing is an illusion crafted by inherited patterns and ancestral alarms, emotional echoes, and instinctive scripts passed down through generations. The nervous system mind explains, and suddenly you believe the explanation was your idea, never your programming. Why inherited nervous systems created my mind invented egotistical illusions. My nervous system is older than my name, a relic forged by ancestors who survived storms. I'll never see it fire before I think. That's why we react the way we do. And I'm good at that. It reacts before I choose and paints illusions to keep me alive. That's why my mind builds ego stories, never because I'm flawed, because my biology still believes I'm fighting ancient battles. Trick is knowing when the illusion protects me and when it cages me. I'm the one who sees the spell, calls it out, and steps beyond it. While your nervous system control invades your daily life, your here and now daily life. Your nervous system is an ancient alarm. Towers still convinced you live in a world of predators, so it hijacks your day with overreactions, panic signals, and urgent alerts that have nothing to do with your current reality. And see, reality is an inherited script. It's never trying to ruin your life. It's just running prehistoric software on a modern battlefield. It invades your daily life because it fires faster than your conscious mind, flooding you with sensation, impulses, and emotional storms before you even get a chance to understand and be aware of what's going on. This is your biology acting like a dramatic guardian, assuming every inconvenience is a threat that must be neutralized immediately. I understand and I'm aware that happens in my life. It used to happen all the time, but now I rise to inner peace and I understand on what's going on out here is an egotistical illusion showing me a dead end within myself. It controls you through habit loops, ancient survival patterns that repeat automatically, creating tension, fear, or overvigilance, even when nothing is wrong. I am quite handy at that. I used to be. Those loops run like old spells cast long before you were born, and unless you see them clearly, they steer your reactions, choices, and moods without your permission. Why my inherited nervous system scripts mind invented repetitions, ancestor anchored programming created my comfort zone scripts and repetitions here and now. Your comfort zone is never comfort. It's inherited survival codes disguised as safety. Your nervous system repeats what your ancestors needed to survive: predictability, caution, and sameness. Those patterns echo through your body, creating familiar emotional loops. The mind then calls this comfort but it's really ancient programming keeping you inside yesterday's boundaries and cages. Your mind invents repetitive repetition thoughts to match the body's repetitive signals. When your nervous system fires the same old sensation, tension, fear, vigilance, your mind builds stories to justify them. These stories become habits, beliefs, and identities. The repetition feels like you, but it's just the mind translating inherited alarms into your daily thinking. Ancestor anchored programming locks you into loops because it was built for survival, never expansion. Your lineage passed down emotional reflexes, behavioral patterns, and worldwide scripts that keep them alive. Without awareness, you replay their patterns automatically. This is how comfort zone forms, never from laziness, but from loyalty to ancestor survival strategies. What your mind, while your mind is is a sheeple puppet to you and your nervous system control. Your nervous system reacts first and thinks later, so your mind ends up following its orders like a loyal foot soldier. The body screams danger, and the mind rushes in to justify it, explain it, or obey it, even when nothing is actually threatening you. Your mind becomes a puppet because the nervous system floods it with signals so fast and so loud the logic can never get a word in or break the repetitive patterns. Stress spikes, fear loops, emotional service hijack your thoughts, and suddenly you're reacting to ancient instincts instead of present reality. Your nervous system trains your mind through repetition, the same fear patterns, the same tension cycles, the same survival stories, until your mind treats them as truth. That's how the puppet strings form, never through weakness, but through ancient programming, running the show without your awareness. Where do you see ancient programming running the show today? It's going on right now through many places. Business is a big one that has an ancient running program. Teach your body the difference between memory and moment. The nervous system reacts to old patterns as if they're happening now, so you modernize it by grounding into the present breath sensations. Environments, each time you anchor yourself, you update the ancient software and show your biology that the battlefield it remembers no longer exists. Interpret the survival autopilot with conscious choice. When your body fires off yesterday's alarms, tension, fear, and overvigilance never obey. They slow down and choose a different response. Every interruption now wires a circuitry, replacing inherited instinct with instinctual commands. That's how the warrior within you evolves. Feed your system with fresh evidence of wisdom and strength. Your nervous system learns from repetition, never logic. When you consistently act from clarity instead of fear, it updates the internal map. Slowly, the old survival loops dissolve and your biology rises with you instead of dragging you backwards. And that's something I've understand. That's what liberating lingo does. It leads you, it entertains the brain, and it leads you and expands beyond what is occurring now. And here's the ways to break the nervous system's repetitions. Disrupt the ritual of automatic reactions. Your nervous system repeats what it knows, never what you need. When the same tension, fear, or overthinking pattern hits, never allow the script to replay itself. Pause, slow your breath, take deep breaths, and move your posture. This tiny rebellion breaks a loop's momentum and teaches your system a fresh rhythm. Feed it with fresh experiences that contradict old programming. Repetition is how the nervous system learns. As you show fresh foresight, the nervous system rises. So give it some fresh scripts of strength and curiosity, and it'll open the choices of your life. Each time you respond calmly to something that used to trigger you, you override an ancient pattern. This is how warriors reforge their internal armor. Expose a loop's lie by naming it out loud. And that's something I've really opened up to, because when you get mad and frustrated, the tension script is running it. But if you can also, this is the way mine is, I make fun of it. I got a buddy that's funny, and I use humor a lot because it does break the inherited scripts. This is the survival echo. The illusion collapses. Naming the loop pulls it out of the shadows and strips it of its power. Awareness is the blade that severs the repetition. Why indoctrinated education is nervous system inheritance, creating mind-invented egotistical illusions. Education never starts in the classroom. It starts in your nervous system long before you ever learn words. The body absorbs patterns, fears, hierarchy, and expectations from the world around you. That becomes the foundation your mind builds on. By the time formal education arrives, your nervous system already has a script, and school simply reinforces it. Indoctrinated education trains your mind to obey external authority, never internal wisdom or veracity. Your nervous system learns to associate approval with compliance, safety with conformity, and worth with performance. Those signals shape your thinking, creating ego illusions like I must be right, I must be perfect, or I must be accepted. All survival echoes disguised as identity. Your ego illusions are inventions born from inherited nervous systems programming. Trying to protect you, the mind creates stories, superiority, inferiority, certainty, self-importance to make sense of the pressure your nervous system feels. These illusions are flaws. They're not flaws, they're defense mechanisms crafted by generations of conditioning, passed down like an invisible armor you never asked for. Why hate, anger, jealousy, and all negativity are nervous system inherited Scripts, mind invented, and ancestor programming. Hate and anger and jealousy are ancient survival alarms your nervous system inherited, never moral failures. Your ancestors needed these reactions to detect threats, defend territory, and protect resources. Those instincts live in your biology, firing off emotional storms long before your mind has time to interpret anything. Your mind invents stories around those sensations to make them feel logical, personal, and justified. The nervous system sends a surge, heat, tension, adrenaline, and the mind scrambles to explain it. The expectation becomes hate, jealousy, or anger, even though the root is just old wiring reacting to a perceived danger. Ancestral programming shapes how these emotions show up, repeating patterns passed down through generations. When your lineage survived through vigilance, competition, or emotional armor, those patterns echo in you. The emotions feel like you, but they're really inherited scripts your nervous system still performs. How to cut the puppet strings. Savage Wise key points on how to cut the puppet strings so your mind stops dancing to your nervous system ancient commands. Call out the invisible. Call out the invisible pull. The moment you notice the automatic reaction, the tension spikes, the fear surge, the overthinking spirals, the spell weakens. Awareness is a blade that slices the first string because you can never be controlled by what you clearly are aware of and witness. Interrupt an ancient script. When your nervous system fires off its old survival drama and trauma, pause instead of obeying. Breathe slow, ground your body, and refuse the instinctive command of the scripts. Every interruption now wires the pattern, teaching your biology what you are the one in command now. And then you claim the throne of your interpretation. Your nervous system sends signals, yet your mind decides what they mean. And when you stop treating your every sensation as a threat and start interpreting it with clarity, the puppet strings fall away and the body reacts. The warrior chooses. Why business mindsets today are inherited nervous system programming and mind invented thinking and knowing with ancestor programming. Most business mindsets today are just survival instincts wearing a suit. The drive to compete, dominate, outperform, and never fall behind comes from an inherited nervous system built for scarcity and threat detection. Your biology still thinks you're fighting for food, territory, and tribe status, so pushes your mind to create strategies that feel like ambition, yet are really ancient survival reflexes. Your mind invents business logic to justify the emotional storms your nervous system triggers. Stress becomes urgency, fear becomes motivation, and insecurity becomes hustle. The mind builds entire belief system, productivity, grind culture, and perfectionism to make sense of the body's old alarms. It feels like rational thinking, yet it's instinct dressed as intelligence. Ancestral programming shapes you shapes how you approach success, risk, leadership, and self-worth. If your lineage survived through hard work, vigilance, or hierarchy, those patterns echo in your business mindset. And see, a lot of people talk business, 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 but they can't talk to people. And that's why business today and a lot of the marketing out there sounds robotic. And it sounds like it's in the ancestral programming and invented mind thinking and knowing. You inherit their fears, their drive, their scarcity stories. Your mind turns them into principles, values, or best practices. What feels like modern strategy is often ancient conditioning running the show. Why self improvement, self help, personal growth, punctuated writings are nervous system inherited, mind invented mindsets, ancestral programming controlling your here and now. Most self help teachings speak to the mind, yet the real puppeteer is the nervous system you inherited. You're told to think positive, shift your mindset, believe in yourself, but your biology is running an ancient survival code with that script. Your nervous system is stuck in fear, vigilance, or scarcity. So no amount of motivational punctuation will override the ancestral alarms firing underneath everything. Self-improvement writing often reinforces the illusion that your thoughts are the problem when the mind is just translating old bodily signals. The nervous system sends a surge, tension, dread, and urgency, and the mind invents a story to match. Self-help then tries to fix the story instead of source, trapping you in loops of mindset work. And the mind is the illusions of, of your life that never touch the deeper programming. Personal growth culture unknowingly repeats ancestral patterns, striving, proving, perfecting, and surviving. These writings often glorify hustle, discipline, and constant optimation. Echoes of generations who had to fight for safety and belonging. The mind calls it growth, but the nervous system is still replaying inherited scripts, controlling your present with yesterday's fears. Where do you see that in your life? I've risen out of a lot, but there are still a lot of them hiding in there for me to call out and kick out the door so I soar. Why nervous system inherited traps instigates mind invented egotistical illusions, unknowingly making today yesterday. Your nervous system reacts using ancient memories, never present moment and noality. I use noality because it brings it to here. Reality is it's a mind invented thing. So it pulls you into yesterday before your mind even wakes up. The body fires old survival alarms and the mind scrambles to explain them. That explanation becomes ego. I'm right, I'm threatened, I'm not enough, I must defend. None of it is about today. It's inherited instinct replaying itself through you. Your mind invents egotistical illusion to make sense of the sensations your nervous system can never articulate. Fear becomes certainty, tension becomes identity, insecurity becomes superiority or inferiority. These illusions feel personal, yet they're just the mind trying to translate ancient biological signals into stories so you can understand. Ancestral programming repeats itself through emotional reflexes, making the present feel like a continuation of the past. Your lineage survived through vigilance, comparison, hierarchy, and self protection. So those patterns echo in you without awareness. You live inside their script, reacting to ghosts as if they're real, as if they're authentic, turning every new moment into a rerun of old survival patterns. Why am I the liberator of me destroys inherited nervous system scripts as, as energized listening and maverick questions hearken wisdom, dissolve mind invented thinking, rising of inspiration, intuition, imagination, innovation, liberation, wisdom, and inspiration and clarity unleashes you. You are the liberator because you're the only one who can hearken the deeper signals beneath the inherited noise. When you practice energized listening, when you experience energized listening, never to the mind's chatter, yet to the quiet wisdom underneath, you expose the ancient scripts running your reactions. Seeing the script is destroying the script. Awareness is the blade that cuts the ancestral loop. Your maverick questions break the chains your nervous system never knew it was wearing. When you question your automatic thoughts, your emotions, reflexes, your inherited beliefs, you shatter the illusion that they are you. This is the warrior's rebellion, refusing to accept yesterday's programming as today's identity. Every question is a crack in the old armor. As the scripts dissolve, your authentic capacities rise, inspiration, intuition, imagination, and clarity. These are never mind inventions. They're what emerges when the nervous systems stop dragging you backwards. When old illusions fall away, your inner world expands. Creativity awakens, insight sharpens, wisdom flows. You are the version of yourself, of your sovereign self. The one your ancestors never had the freedom to be. When I am the sovereign freedom my ancestor never I am the sovereign freedom my ancestors never experiences. As I now admire, I am the fiery liberator of me, unleashes my innermost pristine peace and lush prosperity. You are the sovereign because you stand where your ancestors never were able, with an awareness they never understood how to access. They survived you and I could awaken. They endured so you could choose. Their nervous system were shaped by danger. Yours is being shaped. Yours is being designed by clarity. You carry their fire, yet you are no longer bound by the chains of pain and ingrained survival mode programming. That alone liberates you and energizes your freedom they never tasted. You are the fire liberator of your sovereign worth because you dare to question the scripts they had to obey. Where they were forced to conform, you disrupt the corrupt of your ancestors' ways. Where they were silenced, you express your inspirations that bypass the mind. Where they were trapped in survival, you ignite, broadcasting bold brilliance to rise, shine, and energize. Your maverick awareness dissolves inherited illusions, burns through outdated patterns, clears a way for your desired inner peace to rise unchallenged. Your innermost pristine peace and lush prosperity awaken the moment you stop living yesterday's story. That's something. Stop telling the stories of what happened to you. These are the events and experiences that expanded me and rose me to here and now. When you release ancestral fear, inherited scarcity, and mind made illusions, your natural state emerges calm, creative, abundant, and sovereign. Prosperity becomes expression, never pursuit. Peace becomes presence, never escape. You become the living proof that a lineage can evolve when you listen and question your way to the promised land. Excuse me. So one thing about it, when you liberate yourself, you stop tying yourself into the stories of your ancestors. But that inherited nervous system and mind invented way of life still controls us today. But how does it control your life? What will liberate you? How will you be the liberator of you? Anyway, I want to thank you. I am Robert A. Wilson with Cowboy Wisdom Podcast, and we'll be here Thursday night with another one. So I want to thank you and good night.